Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, hope you're well. Abdulla Ajmal again. And today I was called to answer some questions. And I thought there would be quirky questions, fun stuff. But turns out it's not. They're fairly serious questions about our history and how we came to be, etc. So let's try and make it a little light-hearted, huh? Let's see what we can do. What is the first memory that comes to your mind when you hear the word farm? Okay, so most people might think that, it's a very cliched response, but the reality of it is that given the fact that from the age of 4 till 15, every holiday, so that was 2 holidays minimum a year, our grandparents took us to Assam and the village where we come from. And originally my grandfather was a farmer. He came from a farming background. So therefore, that was the first memory of a farm. We'd leave the airport and all the way 165 kilometers to our little village, Hojai. It would be farms all the way, and then obviously more of our farms. So that's what I remember. How has your legacy evolved over the years? I think the legacy has evolved in a combination of a lot of hard work, trust built by my grandfather, Ajmal Ali, and the consumers. Because over the years, you see, the Khaliji Arab, particularly from UAE and some other countries, were trading with India in textiles, spices, and perfumes. That's how the relationship originally began. And then 72 years on, today we're here, we're strong, we are transnational, we're in 50, 60 countries, and inshallah with a view to go to 150 at least in the next 5 years. What is the most important thing you learned from your father? Authenticity. Authenticity I've always learned from my father, from my grandfather, other members of the family, that regardless whatever, you need the authenticity for the consumer to build that trust with you. In fact, we did a research some time back that what was the one word that consumers, relate to Ajmal with, and that word came out as trust, which is great. I mean, people live an entire life getting that kind of authenticity and responses from your customers, but alhamdulillah, we've managed it in one lifetime. Well, 2, 3, if you count my elders. When did Ajmal family decide to start growing oud? And what made them choose this plantation? As I mentioned earlier, that my grandfather was a farmer originally before he came into business. So he started work, we're 72, we started since 51. It was in the mid 60s or late 60s, he realized that, being a farmer especially, he realized that everybody is felling trees, but nobody is planting anything in its place. So Granddad, Dada, I called him when he was around, God bless his soul, started the afforestation program in 1979. And we started with a small little farm, and today we have multiple plantations all over Assam with over 10 million trees, alhamdulillah. What sustainability in fragrance really means? Sustainability in fragrances is still a very a distant future, to be honest, in my opinion. Yes, we've started it in many ways. How do you procure your raw materials, being fair to the farmers, using materials perhaps that can be less harmful or harmless completely to the environment. And I believe there are going to be regulations and technology, because today the technology doesn't exist, which helps us to create more and more eco-friendly products. Except for, of course, there are restrictions on materials that are internationally there, and we too, because we are a sort of a global brand, we don't use those raw materials as well. So this is our way of moving into sustainability. The usage of solar panels in our factory, usage of now a new machinery to renew the water that is being used. These are our ways or our contribution towards sustainability. How would you define globalization, and what do you think about it? Well, globalization, I think, is a bit like being everywhere. when people either recognize you or see you everywhere. Well, if they don't see you everywhere, they don't recognize you. So I think the idea of an individual, if you are, let's say, a celebrity, or you're a brand, and if you are recognized in, let's say, 150 countries of 200 plus, I think that defines globalization very well in my eyes. What do I think about it? I think that is the vision. I mean, my vision, inshallah, as CEO is to be a global brand. And that is not to say that we want to be available everywhere. I don't want to be available in supermarkets and hypermarkets, but we want to be known, recognized as a prestige premium brand. Thank you guys for this period that you have spent with me. I don't know if it was knowledgeable, but I believe that you got to know me a little bit more, Ajmal a little bit more, and what do we see the future as.